Hi, everybody. It's Bob Ost, and this is Theater Resources Unlimited. We're a New York-based small not-for-profit organization that's been dedicated to helping um, artists as well as producers understand and navigate the business of theater. We help producers, we help writers, we help anyone who wants to be helped. We're here for you. Um, so we started doing these Friday gatherings because of COVID, and it was my forced introduction to Zoom. Basically, my arm was twisted, and I had to actually discover what Zoom was and embrace it with a twisted arm. So we've been doing this, and this is, I think, the 295th consecutive week of these that we've been doing. And it's really interesting because called ourselves a small not-for-profit in the New York area. We're no longer just in the New York area because of Zoom, because of putting this up on YouTube and on everywhere else. We got following from all around the world. I haven't had people from outside of the United States for like a month or so, but we've regularly had people from outside of US, especially I have a following in Australia. I don't know. I don't know why. If any of you are out there now, hi. Um, so we're we really are very pleased at the results of Zoom, and I'm very pleased about um, embracing the virtual world. And I'm one of those people that thinks that the virtual world and the Zoom experience was a gift for us. I now consider it part of the toolbox, and I do like doing things that are hybrid, and I do like things doing things that are live, and I do like things doing things that are just purely virtual. I do a lot of stuff that's virtual. But we're going to talk today about a live theater experience. We're going to talk about festivals. This is about the fourth in a series that we've been doing about festivals. We were started off with Edinburgh, and then we moved closer to home. So today I've got one of the most diversified theater festivals in the New York area. I mean, it's amazing all that they do. It's called Frigid New York. Frigid New York is a what would you call it, guys? It's the name of your your umbrella company under which you do uh, the New York Fringe Festival. You do Queerly. You do. I mean, if you're going to do it again, Estrogenius, and there's so many other things that you guys do. I'm going to bring you in because I'm running out of things to say without having you here. So I want you to meet Jimmy Lovett, and I want you to meet Erev Ziv. Do you say Ziv or Ziv or Ziv?
Ziv is good.
Okay. So Erev, I'm going to take myself off for a second. I'm going to let you guys introduce yourselves. So welcome to TRU. You were here like 2 years ago. It was a little while ago that we had you on before, and that's when I first started to understand that Frigid New York actually was an you explain it because that's your company, and under that you have six, seven, eight. How many? Stop me when I get there. How many? How many festivals do you do?
We're at 6 or 7 now. Uh,
Okay.
yeah. So the season starts with uh, October, our Days of the Dead festival, then our Gotham Storytelling Festival, then the Fire This Time Festival, which we're opening January 23rd at the Apollo this year. We've been doing it in the East Village for 17 years, and now we're going to do it at the Apollo. And then our Fringe Festival in April, Queerly, and Little Shakespeare Festival. And every once in a while, we throw a couple of new ones in there. We did a Neurotica Festival this year. We've been doing Estrogenius for the last few years, but they've kind of moved to a place on the calendar that's a little harder for us to accommodate. So we only did one show in the festival this year.
So this you first of all, introduce yourself and say you're really the founding executive director, right?
Yeah.
This happened because of you. It's all your fault.
Well, you know, it, thankfully I live in a city that provides a lot of material to work with. It wouldn't be me somewhere else wouldn't be able to do it.
And Jimmy, explain what your function is. You're a resident artistic director. What
Yeah.
does that mean?
Uh, what doesn't it mean? I'm one of two resident artistic directors at Frigid. So I'm working with the artists. I'm doing some admin. I curate the Queerly Festival, fill in for front of house, occasionally fill in for tech, though I really shouldn't be allowed to do that because I'm not very good at it. But it's indie theater. We all do a little bit of everything.
Oh yeah, you didn't mention the toilet paper, did you? Um, I've been there, done it. I'm trying to think where we can start this conversation. Um, let's talk about how how big are each of these festivals? I'm assuming that the New York Fringe is the largest of the festivals. So let's start with that.
Okay. This year, the New York Fringe Festival is in five venues in Brooklyn and Manhattan, two in Midtown, two on the Lower East Side, and one in Dumbo. It's going to be 75 shows doing over 300 performances over, I think it's 19 days total.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming that you've already selected your shows for April.
Yes, we pick the shows out of a hat. Like this is a completely random festival. The first half of the festival is curated just by first come first serve. The first people to press the button on Labor Day get in. Took a couple of minutes this year to fill up that portion, and then we do a drawing in on Halloween to pick the rest. So it's a random festival that is curated by God.
Aren't they all though, really? So you 75 it's a big festival. I mean, it's the New York Fringe with Elena Holy and the gang. That was over 200, which
Yes.
always seemed like it just seemed how do you manage that? How do you manage 75? Let's start with that.
75 manages us most of it. It's not, like this is the biggest the festival's been. Last year it was less than 70. I think we were 68, like 64 last year.
Before, yeah.
And so this is the biggest the festival's been. We're cautiously looking forward to it, but we have a good team around, and it goes pretty smoothly as much as something that big can go.
So
For years,
who's
it was a 30 show festival for the first 15 years of its existence, and I always called it a boutique Fringe festival. But then when the New York International Fringe Festival stopped happening, kind of there was a vacuum that needed to be filled. So we grew the festival.
Well, I don't know if you noticed, but John Chatterton is in the room with us today. He was part of an interview that I did a couple weeks ago where we talked about the return of the Midtown International Theater Festival, um, which he specifically thinks of as being a Midtown or Uptown festival. In terms of having it two Uptown, two downtown, and one in Dumbo, what's your feeling there? I mean, do you will you be programming it with certain things that you think would belong best in those areas, or is it just random?
It's absolutely random, and people get to apply. With the way we did it this year is people applied for the venue that they wanted. So we had a separate hat for each venue. People applied for the venues that they wanted to be in. And personally, my hope is that at some point this will be a five-borough festival.
Oh boy.
Not everybody agrees with me on that.
I'm gonna come join you here. So uh, let me ask you who. So it is random. So essentially, what I can tell the people in the room, most of whom are writers, is that yes, apply to this. Your work is absolutely right for this festival because God is curating it. So, So God will pick. God may or may not pick your piece.
As
Um,
as long as your show is 60 minutes or less.
there we go.
Nothing more
So
than 60 minutes.
nothing more than 60 minutes. That's good to know. And so another point of difference with Midtown International, I think John is allowing things as long as 90 minutes. John can jump in
We got to 120 now.
so you have slots that are up to 120. You pay proportionately more depending on how much time you're using. So the one thing that I can tell everybody in the room who are writers is if you have a piece that's 60 minutes or less, then this would be a good place to consider. Do you have a minimum running time, the shortest that you would advise?
We don't officially, but and I think we have a couple of shows even at the festival this year that are 30 minutes long, but they don't. We don't tend to get things that are shorter than that, and even
Yeah.
30 is kind of short.
Yeah, because some festivals I know can take shorter pieces and put them together into an evening. Um, I guess the sweet spot seems to be 60 because that's also in Dream Up Festival. I think that they're looking at 60 minutes. Um, so somebody who has a play that runs an hour and 15 minutes and they beg you, would you would you consider it, or do you have your scheduling set up so that it can only accommodate an hour?
It can only accommodate an hour. We had one year we did an experiment that allowed longer shows, and it was not a positive experience.
Okay. We already have a question. When is the Festival of the Apollo? Tell us about the Festival of the Apollo. We'll come back to this, but we'll mix and match now.
No problem. That one is the Fire This Time Festival. It's the longest running African American Playwrights Festival in New York City. We've been doing it for 17 years. It started out in the Red Room Theater when we had that. That was a 32-seat venue. We moved it from there to the Crane. We moved it from there to the Wild Project, and now we're going to be at the Apollo.
Moment of silence for the Wild Project. I love that theater.
No. The Wild Project is saved. They bought it. It will be there forever.
Oh my God, that's fabulous. When did this happen?
Toast to the Wild Project.
Me too. Yeah, absolutely. I love that place. When
Yeah,
did
that was official. That was made official actually during our Gotham Storytelling Festival while we were there. So sometime in November.
Oh wow. So
Yeah.
I haven't looked since November. I just
All good.
sadly said goodbye. So that's terrific.
Hello again.
Yeah, hello again. It's a really nice space, and it's got a lot of advantages, and it's green, which is also kind of nice.
It's a wonderful venue to work in. Great people running it, and thankfully it will now be there forever.
That is very, very good to hear. I had a play there. I had a musical there actually. So I'm also keeping it. Oh, and keep an eye out for me for any questions that come up while we're talking, because we're going to be covering a lot of material. So the fire. Help me. The fire.
The Fire This Time.
The
Fire This Time Festival. Obviously, you're looking for artists of color. However, if somebody did a piece that was relevant culturally to the community, is that a possibility?
It's African diaspora playwrights. That's the focus of the festival. So the theme, it does not have to be on theme as long as the playwright is Black. Whatever they want to write about is great.
So
you have a paper bag test?
A what?
How do you determine if someone is Black?
I do not determine that. It's an all Black production team on this festival, and if we trust people not to lie.
It says it on the application somewhere. Then,
yeah.
So people know what they're getting into or not getting into. I think I need to know more about your method, because I'm not sure that I understand how all this happens. Are you like this corporate thing that embraces and swallows smaller companies, or how do you come to be the person? How does Fringe New York come to be doing the fire this time and some of these other? You said Estrogenius. Estrogenius seems to be independently run as well.
Astrogenius is very independently run, and we hosted them for a few years, like completely. The festival was in our venues for a while, but it was always very independently run. We were always just provided a venue, and now we provide a venue for just a small part of the festival. The fire this time was started by Kelly Gerard, who was an intern at what was then Horse Trade. And she came to me and said, I want to do this festival for African American playwrights. And I said, let's do it. And that's how that festival was started. She then became part of the team. She became our artistic director, and then she was snapped up by the Apollo. She's now their director of new works.
So what a coincidence that now you're doing this at the Apollo.
You know, she's been there for
how could that have happened?
She's been there for about 5 or 6 years now, and we kept a separation for a while, but it makes sense for the festival to go uptown now.
So let's move to you for a second, Jimmy, because you Queerly is a very specific festival. Do you curate or co-run the others as well, or is your focus really Queerly?
As far as the festivals, my focus is Queerly. I mean, we all help with Fringe. It is very much an it takes a village situation. My partner curates the Shakespeare Festival, so I sort of support on that, run interference, as it were. But for the other festivals, I'm mostly just here to be helpful in whatever ways that I can.
When did you say the Queerly Festival happens?
This year, sorry, I'm looking over at a calendar. We are going June 12th through July 3rd.
And are you still open for submissions?
We are not yet open for submissions,
Oh.
but should be next week or the week after. I think I set the deadline for myself for it to be open January 19th, but I think I'll be getting it open a little bit early just because why not?
Why not exactly? What are the restrictions? What are the requirements to apply? Is it also an hour length?
It's not. I put in the application that it is easier to schedule hour length ones. So like if it's a toss up between like something that's 90 minutes and something that's 60 minutes, the 60-minute one is going to have an advantage. But it's not like a hard and fast rule. Um, as far as like lower limit, like 30-ish minutes, again, it's not really a hard and fast rule. We've done like double bills of shorter shows before. We didn't do any last year because it just didn't come up, but it's not a thing I'm opposed to doing again.
I have a new play that's it's about 2 hours. So I don't know what I would do. I'd have to think about whether I could come up with a shorter version of it. I suppose if I were to apply to you, is that how that would work?
Um, I mean, it's have we done full length things? I feel like we must have. It all
All
sort
right.
of blurs together at a certain point. But there's not like a strict upper limit for the runtime.
Okay. You might be hearing from me. Let's put it that
All
way.
right, I'll look out for you.
Okay.
We have a
Um,
question from Ruth Zamoyda. She wants to know what resources do you offer playwrights in the Fringe, including marketing?
let me preface this for you, Erez and Jimmy, before you start. We've already had conversations. I always make it a point to let people know that essentially they are responsible for marketing their work in any festival. However, all festivals do their own marketing, which encompasses all of the shows that are part of the festival. So I think people do know that. But you let me know if there's any exceptions or any specifics for you.
We do a snapshot event usually the day or two before the festival, where everybody does a couple of minutes from their play in a venue that everybody can fit into. And then it kind of lets people know a little bit about what the plays are for. We do events during the festival where people can network. And then we do the marketing that we do for the festival. But with 75 shows, we can't do individualized marketing for each show. It is up to people to do a lot of legwork on their own.
Yeah. And then with the smaller festivals, it's a similar situation. We don't have the snapshots event. That's a Fringe thing. But with when you're dealing with fewer shows, you can do a little bit more personalized marketing. But it is still like at the end of the day, kind of comes down to the artist to get butts in seats.
We often
Yeah,
participate in podcasts where people would interview like a half dozen people or 10 people from the festival on one podcast, and then that's a way to get the word out.
well, I see some shoes. Oh, we're guess who's coming into the room? um, let me see if I can get Dave. I can introduce you to the room right now. No,
Oh,
not
it's
yet.
me.
Not yet. So Dave, when you come in, if you come in, do me a favor, Owen, Jay, uh, Ashley, keep an eye out for Dave and see
Yeah.
whether we can get him on the screen.
Is that me you're looking for, Bob?
Sorry
Is
to
that
be
Dave,
late.
is that Dave Winitsky?
It is, yes.
Do you have your camera on?
I do. I mean, I can see myself. I hope you can.
What does it say on your name box?
It's
On your
a Jewish Plays Project.
So I'm looking.
And my apologies to everyone for being late. I was stuck in a donor meeting. You know how that goes.
Very important meetings.
Well,
Yes.
I cannot find you.
Here, where am I?
Are you sure you
think
have
I-
you have your?
I'm going to turn it off.
There
and
is.
then
There. I found you. I
now
finally
you
found
see
you.
the one with the logo. Then there's me.
Okay. So I'm gonna bring you in.
Hello, folks.
So this is Dave
Welcome to
Winitsky.
Columbus Center.
So Dave, I'm going to continue talking to Jimmy and Erez about
Please.
the various things that they do. But I'm glad to know that you're here.
Thank you so much.
I also want to make a statement to the room that I understand that the topic, technically, we're talking about festivals in the New York area, and you kind of semi-qualify for that because you really you're beyond New York, really.
We are. We're a national organization and work all over, but our festival, we always do our featured performances in New York, and we're a New York organization. Hence me being in Columbus Center.
Okay. So I don't know what Columbus Center is.
Or Columbus Circle, whatever the
Oh,
mall.
Columbus Circle.
That's what you know. Yeah, sorry, it's Columbus Center. I don't know what Columbus Center is. It's the Columbus Circle.
Okay. Well, good. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
So go back to the various incarnations of the frigid New York. We're still on Queerly right now, so let's continue talking about Queerly. We know that you are opening up for submissions, which might be good news for a lot of people in the room. And we haven't talked about this. What is the cost for somebody to be in the Fringe or in Queerly? We never touched on that.
So, do you want to take this? Because I don't know the numbers on the top of my head.
The Fringe is the only festival that we have that has an application and a participation fee. And that has to happen because in this festival, the artists keep 100% of the box office. So we need money to run the festival. All the other festivals are free to apply, free to participate. It's a box office split. Usually we keep the first $200 and then it's a 50-50 split after that. But with Fringe, we keep none of the box office. 100% of it goes directly to the artist.
So tell us a little bit more about the venues. I know you have two uptown, two downtown, and one in you said in Dumbo, I think you said. So how big are the venues? How hard do people have to market themselves to fill your houses?
So the biggest venue is Wild Project at about 90.
Oh, you are using Wild Project.
We love it. I'm so glad we don't have to look for another venue. We've been at Wild Project for a few years now, and it's just a wonderful venue to work in.
This is the best news I've gotten. This is terrific. Actually, the best news I gotten was I got a sponsor for a benefit today. But this is second. This was a second. This is second place.
And then it's the Chain main stage and the Rat, which are both around 60, 65 seats.
So basically, now you have another thing in common with John Chatterton, because the Chain used to be the workshop, which is where he used to do Midtown International Theater Festival.
Remember the workshop, yeah.
So you use the 65 seat, what used to be the main stage theater there. So, is that correct, or do you? I forget what he has.
Chain main stage, and we also use the Chain studio. So there's two venues there.
Is that the studio? Was that used to be the workshop's small space? That's about 35 to 40 seats.
That's right. That's right. And the Rat in Dumbo is that depends how many. Like the Rat, it accommodates very easily standing room, and it can go up to 70. And that one's in Dumbo.
So the other things that I think we should clarify for people who maybe haven't done this before, they have to produce their own piece. They're coming in to your space, and they're going to have the advantage of being able to run the New York Fringe Festival banner in their marketing, or the Queerly, or whatever.
Yeah. We provide, like, they have to produce their own show, but we provide the front of house and all the services associated with that, selling tickets in advance, selling tickets at the door. We provide a tech person, so they don't have to do any of that. They just show up. We do a tech rehearsal. We provide the tech rehearsal. So we program their lights, set up their sound, and we run the show. They just have to provide the stuff on stage, the stuff and the people on stage.
Yeah, which can cost a bunch.
Yeah.
I mean, I would, in my experience, 20,000 maybe, but more like 30,000 or a little bit more to nicely produce your piece.
Like if you're doing a full show that requires set and props and things like that, then yes, the prices can, like, the cost can go up. But if you're showing up with a one-person show, it's a very affordable way to do that, because you don't have to hire any of the associated staff.
So, question along those lines: do you welcome equity projects or non-equity?
No, we welcome Equity Showcase Code Productions. Our upcoming Fire This Time Festival is a full equity contract. That's the only festival we do all year round that is on full contract.
So you're saying it's a contract, so it's not a showcase, it's actually a contracted situation.
The Fire This Time, only the Fire This Time is a contract situation. The rest are open to showcase.
That's expensive, Lucy. Okay.
Yes, it is.
Okay. But I think they probably get some sort of, they're probably getting some sort of support from the Apollo Theater, I would think. It's also a big space to fill.
It's not the Apollo Theater is closed for renovations. We're at the Victoria stages next door.
How big is that space?
I think 135.
That's healthy.
It's still the biggest venue that festival's been. We started in a 32-seat venue 17 years ago. So we're growing slowly. Hopefully when the Apollo main stage is ready to reopen, we'll be ready to hop in there.
Oh yeah.
That's
you got my vote on that one. So let's go back to Queerly again. Queerly, also, what, or let me ask you both. Do you accept pieces, and it's up to the person that's submitting what level of production they want to do. They can do something with set costumes and lighting if they can make it work in your space, and if they can make it work on the load in and load out.
Right. That's where it's very quick load in and load out. So it kind of filters out the large productions. You get 15 minutes to set up and start the show. So there's not really a lot of time to do too much.
There's also very limited storage. So like, even if you can put something up very quickly, where will you put it when you take it down is also an important question.
Yeah, I've known that from Midtown, and the reason I talk about Midtown International is because actually I was the marketing person for 3 years, so I was very familiar with them. I also produced three, 2 or 3 shows there. Um, they had very limited storage as well, and we were in a situation with one play where we actually had to rent a storage space between shows.
Right.
So,
I mean, we have to fit 15 shows into one venue. It, it's a limiting factor.
yeah, yes, absolutely. Um, So let's see. What have we talked yet? We talked New York Fringe. We've talked queerly. Let's get Jewish for a second. So let's talk Jewish. Dave, you there? Dave, you there?
I am here. I am here,
Okay.
and I'm always ready to talk Jews.
Okay.
That's,
Yeah, yeah,
that's my
yeah.
life. It's all Jews all the time.
Yeah. Well, I'm part-time Jew here.
All right, there you go.
On the high holidays, I'm Jewish.
And great to see some folks here. I see Eric Sirota here. I see D.W. Gregory, some other JPP folks here. Nice to see you.
So tell us how you started the Jewish. By the way, can I tell everybody that you actually were the true, essentially dramaturg. You helped us run
For a
our
little bit, yeah.
play review
Yeah.
series.
Yeah. For a while back. I mean, I was just saying to somebody today, I was like, I think I've known Bob. I'm not even going to say how many years. It's an embarrassing number of years, but it's many years. It's decades now. But it is lovely to be connected again. But yeah, I started the Jewish Place Project 15 years ago now, which is unbelievable. And it started with sort of just a realization that as I was looking at new plays, I saw a lot of really interesting, what we like to call 21st century Jewish plays that were being written, but that's not what was getting produced. What was ending up on stage was a lot of Fiddler and Anne Frank and, your family dentist in Little Shop at the JCC. Like, it just wasn't very interesting what was actually getting produced. And so we said, okay, there's a pipeline problem here. There is great work being written, really interesting, challenging, interesting new work that's not getting to the stages that it needs to get to. So we set up this company that is dedicated to identifying, developing, and advocating for what we like to call 21st century Jewish theater, bringing the contemporary Jewish conversation onto stages. And the stat that I like best about the JPP is that of the 60, what are we up to? 62 plays that we have actively developed, 43 of them have gone on to production in New York, London, Tel Aviv, and around the US, including 9 plays this season, and 3 in New York just this year, including The Reservoir, Jake Brash's The Reservoir, which will be at the Atlantic in February. So everybody should check that out.
So let me ask you this. This is a tough question, kind of. Obviously, the subject matter has to be Jewish related. Do you have an aesthetic?
It's an interesting question, right? Like, the most common question that I get asked is like, what is a Jewish play? And at the end of the day, that's like as big a question as what is a Jew? And we do not have time for that question right now. But what we have decided is, like, we're not here to tell anybody your play is Jewish or is not Jewish. From my perspective, like, if you think your play is Jewish, then it is a Jewish play. Like, I am not here to tell you no. What we have developed is an idea of what is interesting to us and what we feel like is important. And for us, it is 2 things. One, I guess 3 things. One, it's a great play, first of all. 2, it's something that has resonance and to this moment in Jewish life, right? What is happening today? Why the heck would it matter to be a Jew or not a Jew? That's what matters, right? That's what we're looking for. It doesn't have to be set in the present, but it has to say something very clearly about our present. And the thing that we have come to say is that what we're looking for is the place where the Jewish ideas in a piece, the things that is asking that are based on Jewish tradition and Jewish culture and Jewish philosophy, that those Jewish ideas are directly wedded to the narrative of the play, right? That strengthening the Jewish ideas makes the play better. That's the place where we like to live.
I might finish a play about it. So it's called an Attack of Jewish. Um, it's
My God, that sounds like my Monday morning every day, every week.
it's about the Jews who are only Jewish on Yom Kippur.
It's that, you know what? We love those Jews too. Bring them
Yeah, well, that's me. So,
on.
yeah, I might look at that piece and finish it.
All right.
So let me go back to Jimmy and Erez. Do you guys have an aesthetic, and does that come into play at all? I know with you, Erez, it's basically the aesthetic is whatever play can be drawn out of a hat. So there's not a lot going on there. But for you, Jimmy, do you have an aesthetic? Do you have something that you let's not say you look for, but you are delighted when you find?
Um, I mean, my general rule, sort of rule of thumb with Frigid is if it fits and maybe even if it doesn't. Um,
That's a hard
but
and fast rule. That's a hard and
yeah,
not so fast rule.
yeah. Personally, I mean, with Queerly, I'm a big fan of queer history, so that anything with that is gonna catch my attention. Stuff that's like, I don't know, I'm gonna say two things that are very opposing. I really like just like a straight up and down play with, a script and lines and a story and everything. And I'm also here for just like really weird stuff that you look at and you're like, I mean, it's on a stage, so I guess it's theater. Um, and with Queerly, I'm also especially looking for things that might not get a chance in like a different scenario because they're sort of might be seen as sort of like niche, because of the like level or flavor, however you want to say it, of queer content.
And how many plays do you anticipate having, or how many plays? What's the most that you can reasonably accommodate in your festival?
I think last year we had 18 or 20, so around there. It's tight, but we can do it.
And what is the venue that you use?
That's it at Under St. Mark's.
It's what? I'm sorry.
At Under St. Mark's, our
Oh,
home.
the under St. Mark's. Oh, that's the space that I walked by 5 times before I finally saw it. And I'm seeing a show there. I couldn't find it.
That's the one. That's the one.
That's it. Okay. So like 30 seats.
45.
It is.
We can get
What
up
is
to
that?
45.
You
It's
can.
a cozy 45.
Yeah, I would say so. That probably means Equity Showcase may not be the best fit for that space.
We've done showcases there before. We have a showcase opening there on Sunday.
You do, okay. I wasn't sure how Equity was about that because they're very finicky about spaces, about what they let you use and what they don't let you use. They're finicky about everything, but that's one of the things they're finicky about. So let's see. We did. What was there anything else I wanted to ask you about Queerly? And were there any questions that came up about Queerly or about the Jewish Plays project?
Not specifically about those. We've had, I want to give a shout out to Jimmy for answering so graciously so many of the questions in the chat. We've had a couple of those that I can ask, but nothing specifically about Queerly or the Jewish Place project.
Sarah Truesdale wants to know who is allowed to apply for the festivals. Do people need to be either New York State or New York City residents? And I assume that anybody can apply.
For Fringe, we have people coming from all over the world this year, as far as Australia.
And I know that Dave accepts submissions from all over the world, not just the country, but really all from everywhere. And I see you answered that in the chat. Oh, okay. This comes up. This comes up.
Yeah.
Every time. I'll give you context for this, guys. All three of you. As playwrights, we have all become very aware of the fact that companies around regional theaters around the country have basically premiere-itis. Everything needs to be a premiere. They want everything to be a world premiere. So we're cautious about where we do our plays first, because if you guys say that you want it to be a premiere, then we can't send it to regional theaters around the country. It's stupid. It's very stupid. But it's actually a reality. Um, so you guys don't have any requirement for it to be called a premiere in your festivals, right?
No.
Do you have a preference? Would you rather than not have had a Broadway production before they get to you?
It would
We
be wild if they'd had a Broadway
I
production
know.
before they got to us.
Yeah, yeah.
we tend to prefer original work.
That hasn't been produced before.
Uh, we tend to prefer that.
Yeah.
If it's
Yeah.
been produced commercially, it's probably not something we're terribly interested in doing.
My question always to people is, if you've had a commercial run with a paid audience before, then why do you need me? I'm talking about our play reading series, which is not a festival, but it is a series, and it's an opportunity for people to get their work in front of an audience. So you do prefer things that have not been produced before, but Susan, I don't think that should discourage you from submitting. Um, I would assume that they would be happy to see your work if you want to submit to them.
For our Fringe Festival, it doesn't matter at all. It comes up from a hat, and what we prefer doesn't matter.
And for everybody, for all of you, I think we're working on an assumption that we're talking about plays. What about musicals? Do any of your festivals accommodate musicals?
Yep. We had at least one. Was it just one musical? No, I think there were two. Last year in Queerly, we had one that was sort of staged, mostly staged, and we had one that was a staged reading that was, were they reading? I think they were. That was bilingual in English and American Sign Language.
Now, the big question here is, does the writer producer have to provide the keyboard, or do you have a keyboard at your space?
We have.
USM has a keyboard.
Oh yeah, okay.
Um,
That's a big deal.
yeah.
It-
The
it is-
other fringe venues, I'm not.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. At our venue at under St. Mark's, we have a keyboard and we provide it. When we do the Fringe and we're using other venues, it's a little trickier.
I want you guys to know I saw a 9-character musical under St. Mark's. That's a tight fit.
Yeah.
But
do you
We've gotten
remember the
very
name?
cozy.
yeah, I would say it's got to be pretty cozy there.
What kind of keyboard do you have? I'm looking to buy one.
I don't remember.
The questions usually are: is it a weighted keyboard? And
It
normally
is
they're
88
weighted.
keys weighted keyboard.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
used to have a Yamaha P80, but it eventually died of oxidation and old age.
Right. That was our
And
previous piano. I don't remember where we are now, but the Yamaha PA lasted a while and worked fairly well until it stopped.
I was
So-
just wondering which one has replaced it as the sweet spot for festival musical keyboard production.
There are so many out there that are decent nowadays.
Okay.
The Yamaha's a good one. I would definitely use that one again. It lasted a long time.
So I'm going to turn to Dave now on this one. What would you do if somebody submitted you a musical? Would you consider a musical?
We used to, but and it pains me to say this, but we did have to stop accepting musicals. Of course, it doesn't stop people from sending them to us; they do it anyway. But we did stop accepting musicals because we felt like our particular development path wasn't working for musicals. It just didn't. We weren't getting any good results with it, so we said, you know what, let's put this on pause until we have the appropriate support to do it right. So the donor meeting I just came from was somebody who is interested in musicals, and I'm hoping that we might be able to do a small sort of project this summer. But at this point, our general submission process does not accept musicals.
Well, you said something extraordinary earlier. You said that 43 of the pieces that you've been developing have gotten subsequent productions. Why?
Yep.
Tell us about what is your development process?
I want to say because I'm a genius, but I don't think that's appropriate. No, I think it's
I'll back
because
you up on that. Don't worry.
no. I think no, actually, I think it's totally not because of me. I think it's because of our process, the way we choose the plays that we develop, and the way we advocate for them is through what we call artistic democracy. We have about 100 readers who work with us over the course of the year, helping select the finalist plays that we develop, and then we have about another 600 or 800 community members who participate in our process through regional events around the country and in Toronto and Israel. And they are all weighing in and giving their opinion about what they feel like are the most important plays. So when I go to producers or artistic directors, I'm not saying this is a play that I like or this is a play that my staff likes. I'm saying here's a play that has resonated with up to 1,000 people that are in the audience demographic that you are interested in attracting. And so it has real weight. It has something behind it when you go to talk to folks. So I think that has a lot to do with it. And, I think any of the folks here can attest, like the longer you've been around, if you've done it well, the more credibility you have and the more people are willing to take a look at the things that you put forward. So I think there's an aspect of like we have been successful and therefore we are continuing to be successful. But I would put most of it on in the democratic process. We believe in listening to people and really taking, in our specific world, being Jewish is a very wide topic. It has a ton of different ways to approach it. Jewish is always an intersectional identity. You're never just Jewish. You're Jewish, and whatever your nationality is, or whatever your background is, or you're all sorts of things. And so we want to hear from as many people as we can to decide what feels important, and that seems to have an impact.
Now for all that, which was very detailed, I think you're assuming a few things that we don't know.
Please
tell us what the actual process is.
Okay.
Do you have the shows and where did the producers come from who say, oh, I want to produce that? Where did the theaters come from that say, oh, we're going to put that up in our season? How did you get a play to Atlantic Theater?
Well, I can't take a huge amount of credit for that because the play.
I don't care. I just want to know how it happened.
Well, no, I'll tell you. I mean, Jake is a great young writer out of Juilliard. So, like, let's start there, right? He graduated from Juilliard, and he wrote a great play, and we were able to do a developmental workshop on it, and then it got an initial production at the Denver Center. But then it went from the Denver Center to the Alliance, then from the Alliance to the Geffen, then from the Geffen to Berkshire Theater Group, Berkeley Rep, and then from Berkeley Rep to the Atlantic. So a very long journey to get it there. But I think our part of it was to highlight it early and say, hey, folks, this is something really that you should look at.
Okay, so there's still pieces missing. So
Okay.
You pick your... How many do you usually do in a season? You have 15 this year, right?
It is our 15th contest. We have 7 plays in our finalists.
Didn't I get more than one email from you? I thought there were more than 7 plays. Maybe there were 7 plays, and then there were additionals that you mentioned.
There were not.
God,
there were not. I fooled you. It was successful.
You actually made me think of. So what's the next step? Once you pick the 7 plays, who produces them? How much does it cost? What does it cost them? What does it cost you? Where do you do it?
We work with community organizations around the country, and they bring in what we call a live Jewish playwriting contest, which is a combination of a TED Talk, a play reading, and American Idol, where we spiel a little bit about. It's a 90-minute event where we spiel a little bit about the state of Jewish drama. We read 20-minute excerpts of 3 plays, and the audience votes on a winner. The winners from those events get a certain number of points assigned to them. That all adds up to a national winner. And then we do a featured workshop presentation of that winner, either in New York or sometimes elsewhere.
So the writer doesn't have expenses.
The writer has no expenses. The writer gets paid.
Writer gets paid.
Yeah.
Wait a second. I have to mull over that. What does that mean?
Yes, we have no submission fees. We have no and there's no fee for any writer at any stage.
Okay.
But remember, we're not a producing organization. We're a development organization. We do readings and workshops. We do not do full productions.
Okay, so we're talking about readings of these plays, and with Frigid and the Fringe and all of the workshops, all of the festivals you guys are doing, they are productions.
They
So
are
you
productions,
probably do
yes.
have some readings. I assume that you have some readings.
Right. Some of our festivals do have readings.
So tell us which of the festivals have the readings and which have the performances, just so we'll all know. That's Tara's.
Except for the Fringe, we've had readings, I believe, in most of them. Maybe Shakespeare hasn't had a reading.
Yeah, I don't know if Little Shakes has had a reading, but I don't think they'd necessarily be opposed to it.
So how does that poor playwright hear his new work? Shakespeare. That's a joke.
I would be happy never to hear one of his works again.
Was there any actual Shakespeare? I think there's one actual Shakespeare maybe in Little Shakes this year, possibly zero.
Yeah. It's a Shakespeare-themed festival.
Shakespeare inspired.
Okay, so this is more information that I should be pulling out of you. So let's talk about that festival for a second, so people know there might be somebody in the room who has something that would fit.
Yeah.
So this is what's the name of the festival again? I should have this in front of me. I don't. The
Little Shakespeare Festival.
The Little Shakespeare Festival. You accept submissions to the Little Shakespeare Festival, which you do which month of the year?
August.
August. So that one's not open yet. So what you're looking for are people who are lovers of Shakespeare, who write works that may reference Shakespeare or may even reference the style of Shakespeare, that might be doing. This is something like what Red Bull would do. Red Bull looks for writers who can write in blank verse, I guess.
Yeah.
So blank verse.
Measure for measure.
What was that?
Oh, I was just looking at the list from last year. Somebody did measure for measure. So yeah, it's a mix of
measure for measure in 60 minutes. Maybe it's half measure by half measure.
I think last year, the year before, we had somebody who took a whole bunch of women from Shakespeare, women characters, and put them all at a tea party, saying their lines from their play, like in an order that made sense, mostly.
That's clever. That sounds very clever. Assuming it worked, yes.
It worked. It worked for the most part. It was a lot of fun.
So let's see. This is a comment from Eric. Doesn't Drama Guild premiere require so Eric, Drama Guild may have the rules, and I understand that they have the rules and they don't consider things premieres. Writers who I know have come up against the problem of submitting to certain regional theaters, and because they saw that it had been premiered somewhere else, quotes, they said that they were not eligible for this particular opportunity.
Even if it was for performances at a community theater or a festival with
no. I mean, but what regional theaters consider to be a premiere that's taking away from their glory is not always what makes sense to us. It's something we're all fighting. We're basically the National New Play Network has been fighting that whole mindset for years now, and I think there's some progress that's being made in it.
I'm just curious if they were not able to use the name. I mean, like what the Theater for the New City Dream Up Festival, they called it premiere, but I will let that one be called the premiere on the production. Same thing with A Good Day up at Shawnee Playhouse. I think there were 6 performances, community theater. They called it a premiere, and I said, fine, but I'm not. I'm calling it a developmental workshop.
Okay.
On material.
So Susan Crawford, who asked the question originally, Susan, there seems to be an answer somewhere floating in here, which is basically that whatever the production was called by the people that are producing it, you don't have to call it that. So there's a very easy solution. When you submit it, you say, no, it was a developmental workshop or developmental production. It wasn't
Well,
a premiere.
except that Theater for the New City said you must put this on your page, your title page. That
Oh, so this is Dream Up Festival.
It's world premiere. This was 2022, I think. So they may have changed it by now, but that's what they say, world premiere, and every, new play exchange, you can't send anything to them if it's already been produced.
Wait a second. Are you saying that they're saying that you have to put it on the title page of your script or on the title page of the program or of their production?
I assumed it was of the script.
And you signed the thing saying that? I think I just wouldn't do that.
I didn't know how it was going to play out in the fullness of time, but that's where I'm at with this particular play.
So this is just by way of assuring everybody this is a thing, and it does happen to writers. So we're going to move on though. What haven't we covered yet? We didn't cover the one in October, which I assume is kind of a Halloween-y kind of thing. No? Yes?
Days of the Dead. Yeah, that's a fun one with a Mexican accent, that particular festival. It's a lot of fun.
Days of the Days of the Dead. It's not Halloween. It's more Mexican.
It's the season. It's a seasonal play. Martha, who is the curator of that festival, and she is from Mexico and loves the Day of the Dead holiday. So this is kind of a 3 whole weeks of that theme, and it was the biggest it's been this year. It really was amazing. We had, I think, it was more than 20 shows. I think it was like 20. I think it was 24 shows this year in the festival. And it
Jimmy, you're muted.
Sorry. I think she went more shows with fewer performances this year.
Yeah. Fewer performances per show, but more shows.
Yeah.
We've got Dave Winitsky on the move now.
Are you on the move? It's always exciting over here.
Look at you on the escalator. It's a great shot. Directly to the room now. Let's open it up for questions from the room. Did we miss any of your festivals? I don't think we did 6 of them, did we?
We did talk about the Gotham Storytelling Festival, and that's pretty straightforward storytelling, generally one-person shows. This year it was a bit bigger. We did it in 2 venues. I think it was a little bigger than it should have been this year. We'll probably go back to 1 venue next year.
One of the things that interests me is what made you decide to run festivals? Because we're a producing organization, and we're always talking about how hard it is to produce. Why have you done this to yourself?
Yeah, why'd you do this to us?
Our entire season is a festival. We do close to 1,000 performances in a season. Now we're only running 1 venue, which is so much easier than running 2, which was the way it used to be. But we have, shows almost every night of the week, 2 shows a night, most nights of the week. So from there to festival, it's not that big a leap. We have the machinery in place for it already. So it's a pretty easy jump.
Do you have funders? You must have funders.
We do, God bless them. And, my job has become more and more chasing them than working on theater as the years go by.
I had a conversation with my NYSCA program person, and he said that everybody had been cut this year.
Yes, I can attest to that.
Yeah, I can too. We have to actually rethink a lot because we had a big cut. this year after 2 years of getting something that was substantial for us.
Yeah, we took a big hit from NYSCA this year. Fortunately, DCLA gave us an increase this year. We've been on a 3-year contract with them up until now, so our numbers haven't changed in 3 years. But now we're on a new 3-year, so they've upgraded us a little bit, and they made up for the cut from NYSCA. And there's also private funders, Gilman Foundation, individual donors. We spend a lot more time than I want to.
That's interesting. The Gilman Foundation used to be musicals. They used to have such a focus on musicals. I guess they've broadened it now, so that's good. Let me see. Any other comments from the room? Any questions or Tracy? Tracy Swedlow? Did we answer your question? I know you were in and out. I think you wanted to know whether they accepted musicals.
Yes, thanks, Bob.
Okay. Susan Crawford.
I just wanted to respond to Eric about if I had signed that XYZ. I must thank him. He directed me to the Dream Up Festival, and it's relaunched my life, my playwriting life in the past several years. And he introduced me to TRU. But Eric, let's talk about how to deal with this premieritis issue privately, or maybe have a whole TRU gathering about it.
I might invite somebody from the National New Play Network. We had a nice conversation with them about 4 years ago. It's about time to bring them back.
Okay.
We could talk about that.
Great.
Is there anything any threads that I've left hanging? Dave, anything more that you want to let us know about Jewish Play Project? Jimmy, did we cover queerly? Was there anything that left unsaid? I'm sorry that I'm just getting distracted by things. So usually I can keep in my head everything that we said or didn't say.
There's a lot to juggle with us.
So let me lower Susan's hand so I know that she's not asking another question. Maybe she is.
No. Go ahead. That's fine. I'll lower it if I can find it.
No, I did it already.
Okay.
So my playwright's in the room. What more do you need to know to decide that you want to submit your play to one of these, one of the festivals? It sounds like the most visible is the Fringe, but I might be wrong. You might get great visibility on your other festivals as well, but it's the biggest one, so it seems to like would be the most visible. Why do you think somebody would want to have their play done? What are the reasons, based on your experience of doing this all these years? What are the good reasons? What are the bad reasons?
Bad reasons to make money. Anybody who wants to do theater to make money, that's a very bad reason, and it doesn't work. Good reasons, really, test things out, test the waters, see how it works in front of an audience. I don't think most plays that show up in a festival are a final product. People always want to do more than they can in a festival that gives you like 15 minutes to get in and out.
Yeah, really, the 15-minute in and out is something. Interestingly enough, the people from the Edinburgh Fringe, some have said that they think that to make the most of the opportunity, your play really should be ready. And this has stuck with me since they said it, and I agree with you, Urs. I think it's an opportunity to actually get it up and get feedback. It's a developmental step. But for some reason or other, the Fringe may be seen as being a little bit more ready for production than some other festivals. However, with 3,000 pieces, you know that they have 3,000, right? They have 3,000. Not all 3,000 of them are there because they're ready to be picked up and produced somewhere. There's a lot of development going on there too.
But like a show that is ready for Broadway will often open somewhere else, and it's ready, but it's not done. It still needs to go up in front of an audience and see how a live room feels about it. But if you're working on a show for a long time, there are jokes you get that other people won't get. There are things that you don't think are funny that you put it out in front of an audience, and suddenly everybody's laughing at a line that you didn't really think was going to get any laughs. So it's a good way to put it up and see how a thing works live. It's very different how things play out in your head and how they work in front of an audience.
And now Dave is in the subway.
You guys are getting the whole tour in New York here. We're doing all.
Oh, this is so funny. Dave, I want to ask you a similar question. To what degree are you open to plays that you see the possibilities in, rather than plays that you think are absolutely perfect right now and ready to go?
No, it's a great question, and we're a development organization, so we're definitely open to things that are in development, and we want people to send us things that they feel like are early in their process. However, and I think this is true of any festival appearance too, we have had to modulate a little bit, because what we realized is, to whatever the value of the exposure that we're able to give plays, there is a time when you can put too much attention on a play before it's ready, right? And so when I hear Edinburgh say, only do it when your play is ready, I get that, because it's Edinburgh. And if your play is ready, people could see it. And if it is not ready, people could see it. And then you're dead, right? Okay. I think, it's particularly true of New York, but I think it's true of many things. You only get one bite at the apple. And so when to show your piece and where to show your piece is a really key thing to know. And we've even started to,
Oops, we lost you.
I was just going to say.
There's just a train going by. We've even started to say, we used to put a lot more plays that were strongly in development into our finalist list. But what we figured out is that it's not actually helpful to the playwright. We need the plays to be at a point that they could at least show up in some theater's new play series, or, be ready for the attention that we're going to give it. Otherwise, it's actually not helpful for the play, and sometimes actually stands in its way.
I would think that doesn't apply as much to your festivals. I think that you're really open to all levels of development, especially since it's the drawing them out of the hat theory. So you're not actually being critical anyway. So people are just submitting, and God is deciding whether they're going to be in your festival.
Listen, I've read a lot of plays that looked great on paper, and then between the paper and the stage, there's a lot of things that happen. A play can read amazingly well, and then the production can be awful, and vice versa. I've read plays that were awful to read, but then some kind of magic happens between the page and the stage, and it's a very entertaining thing to sit through.
I'll tell you a little story. I've submitted to my own play reading series. And I submit blind. Nobody knows it's me. I did have one play that was picked, and we did do a successful reading of it. But I have Poor Little Musical. I was bashed. I mean, they don't know that I'm actually reading these evaluation forms, and I was just depressed as all get out. My musical never got in. I submitted 2 years in a row, but then I finally did it in the Fresh Fruit Festival, and got standing ovations.
Right.
So there is that. What people read and what people see on stage are not usually the same thing anyway. And it takes a special kind of reader to actually know what will work on stage, what is stage worthy and what isn't. Not all readers really know that. This is a frustration for me, because we depend on readers, and some of them are dead on. They're exactly, they get it, and some of them That's one of the reasons why we have everything read by three readers. Because I think one reader you get an opinion, two readers you might get a yes and a no, or two yeses or two nos. But it takes three readers for me to feel comfortable that we're getting enough of a varied eye on the page, so that we're not just following somebody's specific taste. So. I think there's a Helmut Galabretti has his hand raised. We're gonna have to end because I have to let you guys get dinner. But Helmut, what did you want to ask?
Well, I went online and looked at the New York City Fringe Festival, otherwise called Frigid, and I was trying to see where it is that you can, submit, and what the submission rules are. I think you said 10 minutes. It has so.
No, 30 minutes to an hour.
No, 60 minutes, 60-minute limit. There's no application available right now. Applications open on Labor Day and close on Halloween. We usually make them available towards the end of August for people to look at, but they can't actually apply until Labor Day.
And then you put something on your website to application link.
Right.
Labor Day till
Halloween.
Halloween. Oh, okay. That's great. Thank you.
Okay, so I think I'm going to release you guys. Jimmy, thanks. Oh, it's good to see you again. Eris, thank you again. And Dave, my old friend Dave, my God, we should stay in touch a little bit more. I mean,
a little bit.
I mean, talking to you every
Come on down to the B train. I'm right here. I'm in the subway. So
and you're getting amazing sound quality for being on the move like that.
I know it's not bad, right?
What is this? This is magic.
It's magic. It's magical. But great to see everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Eris, and thank you, Jimmy. I'm going to do some final words for our YouTube audiences out there. I'm multitasking right now. And let's see. So there we are. Here I am. So thank you to everybody who's out there. Thank you for everybody who's in the room. I appreciate this ongoing support that's been happening now it's going on 6 years. April will be 6 years that we've been doing these. I try to get interesting people in every week. We talk about a lot of different things. Most of it's theater related, but not everything. We talk about things that are. I've had a concert pianist. I've had an orchestra conductor. I had Beowulf Blorrid. I had a set designer. That's a great interview. And actually, I've got a costume designer that's coming up in a couple of weeks. And also next week we're going to have. We had to postpone this. This is a friend of mine, Tara Moses, who is very, very active in the indigenous arts community. And we're going to talk about the struggle or the challenges of finding acceptance and really creating genuine diversity and genuine acceptance for artists that don't look like the people that run our country. So I hope you'll join us. I hope you'll come back. If you want to be in the room, you want to be actually invited to the room, we're happy to do that. Just email me at trunltd@aol.com. trunltd@aol.com. Gladly invite you every week. If not, you can keep looking for us on YouTube. We have 9,560 YouTube subscribers now. So I hope if you're out there and you're not a subscriber, you'll consider subscribing and being part of us. And if you want to support what we do, hey, Happy New Year. Happy New Year, everyone. I should start by saying that. To actually bring us into the new year, we actually could use some donations and some money. You can always come for free. I mean, I'm happy to have you. But if you can actually spend the $12, that would be great. If you can join us as a member at $95 for a year membership, that would be great. Bearing in mind that for the first time in 15 years, we're raising our membership in about 3 or 4 weeks. I have to find out what's going on with my tech guy. So join us. Go to TRU and God, True Online, truonline.org, trueonline.org. Look for the membership button or just read more about us and what we have going on and what's happening in the coming weeks, whatever. Or you can make a donation. Just go to True Donate, trudonate.com, trudonate.com, and just give us some money and to welcome us into the New Year. I would appreciate it. Love doing this. Love having you all come in here. I love being part of a community. You make me feel like I've got a family. So thanks for being with us.